Hello, everyone watching and listening, and welcome to another edition of Inspired by with Stowe. I have the honor and pleasure to talk to Jabari Johnson today. Man, how are you feeling?
Yo, man, I'm great, man. Everything's great out here in Texas now that the winter storm's gone, so I'm good.
Man, y'all had some prayer warriors down there and all across the globe for y'all, man. That was something to see.
Man, we had it rough. I was in a hotel for 4 days, no electricity. Actually, my lights came on Wednesday at like 2 p.m., but it was so cold. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna let my apartment warm up a little bit before I go back. So I
Wow.
just stayed an extra night at the hotel since I already paid for it. I was like, all right, cool.
Right. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad everything is back in order because I mean, dealing with that and still with the pandemic that's going on, like I can't imagine living through that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Everybody was walking around with their mask off and stuff like that. And they ain't really about to start taking their mask off now since Texas opened up. So I'm like, y'all
Right.
do what y'all want to do. I'm keeping mine on.
Man. So I wanted to talk to you about something you posted on your Instagram the other day, where you had a transparent moment with your followers and audience on there.
Yeah.
And the one piece I really liked is how you talked about encouraging people not to suffer in silence. So you have, folks like yourself on major platforms with major followings, but there's other people that aren't in the spotlight that are still suffering that way. So how can we change that culture of like masking our issues and suffering in silence? How do we go about changing that?
I feel like, well, for me, I was just like, I didn't want to be talked about. I didn't want
Yeah.
certain media platforms to get a hold of my story. It's like, let me tell my story before somebody else have to tell it. So
Mm.
I'm open with people. I'll tell them that I was I was addicted to sex. I was addicted to pornography. I wanted to take my own life. I tell my story, you know what I'm saying? But it took me a while to post that because I've been thinking about that for months, man. Like
Wow.
since like probably July of last year, I was like, man, I want to help somebody, but I don't want to be talked about, or I don't want to be, all the stuff that come with it. Once you say one little thing, everybody
Mhm.
just take it and run with it. But I
Right.
feel like we can change that by not making people feel bad about getting help.
Yeah.
Especially like in the African American community, black folks, they be
Right.
like, oh, they it's almost like it's looked down upon for getting therapy, for going to therapy or getting help, you know what I'm saying? But I believe in God, but at the same time, I still need to go see the people about my sex addiction. I needed to go pray about, that same thing, but I still went and sought help.
Yeah.
You can't just make people feel like, yeah, God answers prayers, God to do all these wonderful things for us, but He put those people here for a reason
Yeah.
to help us. So I mean, that's how I feel like we can do it. Just don't make people feel bad about getting help. Because
Right.
I was just like, man, I'm gonna lose so much if I say this, but then I was like, but I'm gonna help so many people.
Yeah.
So it's like
That
it is what it is.
yeah, because that I mean that kind of opened my eyes because I'm super private. Like I don't like
Yeah.
telling anybody anything past or present. And so I definitely commend you for coming forward and opening up, especially with who you are in the platform that you have, like that. You know, more people with the voices like you, stepping up and saying things like that is helping the masses. And so like so with you holding on to that for so long, like what was it that was triggered in you to give you that courage in order to do it?
So I mean, I'm actually in a relationship now. So me and my girl, we was just talking one night, and I was just like, babe, I really want to help some people. Like I really want to tell my story, but I'm scared. And she was the one that actually pushed me out there to
Right.
like, hey, just go for it, you know? Like, what's the worst that could happen? People gonna say, oh, he was addicted to sex. Well,
Yeah.
you just told them that, so you're not you're
Right.
not saying nothing new, you know what I'm saying? So it was actually her, man. She pushed me out there to do that, and I was just like, yeah, I appreciate her for that.
Wow, that's what's up. So, um, and that I think that's just how those things are how we set ourselves up to understand the victory that we have granted to us. Like we
For sure.
could be, have addictions, have negative thoughts, be insecure. But with your latest song now, Fixed Fight, you talk about how we are already victorious. And I remember getting that song last summer and playing it in my mix on the show, and I'm like, man, this is a good song. Not only
Yo,
from a musical standpoint, but just from a message. Like because usually when we talk about something being a fixed fight, is in a negative way. Like
right.
you're cheating,
Everybody talking about throwing hands or some stuff like
right?
that.
Right. But now with that song, now here we are, a few months later, and it's starting to pick up traction. It's your first top 20 hit on the charts. Like, how's that making you feel?
Man, I didn't even know they was playing my joint like that on the radio. Like that. I'm not gonna even lie to you, man. Like for real. Like my homie was like, "Yo, you in top 20?" I was like, yeah, all right, whatever." But then he sent me the chart, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
man.
I'm real life number 16 right now." Like
Yeah,
that's dope. So I mean, it's a great feeling. I wasn't even looking there. That just goes to show you that I'm really more concerned about the message getting out, letting
man.
people know that it's a fixed fight, man. I had a lot of people telling me, a lot of people saying, "Are you saying fist fight?" I've even had some people say fish fry. I'm like, "Are y'all crazy, bro?" Like, first of all, you just hungry, but
Right.
the message of the song, that's what I want to get out. It's a fixed fight. We got the victory no matter what we go through, no matter what you're feeling, no matter what you face, whether you dealt with COVID, whether you lost a loved one, or you've lost your job, you gotta know that around the corner is victory. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So,
yeah.
weeping may endure for a night.
Boy.
If I had an organ, Doc, yeah, man.
Yeah, and it's interesting, just seeing that. Like, you may not see the impact of your song fully, but it's definitely touching people out here. I saw someone left a comment on your video on YouTube saying how she was listening to the song in her car, and then she was at a red light, and she looked at the next car, and the next car was listening to the same station and was playing your song too. So
Oh,
they
that's
end
wild.
up they end up like pulling over and sharing each other's testimonies and just worshiping together. So like, what is it that you're like, the impact that you're looking to make with your music?
Man, that right there, I ain't even see that. But that's
Man,
pretty dope. I
yeah,
wish they would like recorded it or something. Like you pull up to just imagine pulling up to the stoplight and somebody jamming the same joint. You be like, yo, But just to be able to get out and share the testimony is the crazy part for me because it's like people go through so much, man.
yeah.
People go through so much. Like even with me, I have to go back and listen to my song sometime and say,
Mm,
man, like I gotta remind myself that I still got the victory.
yeah.
People have no idea. Like the post we was just talking about,
Mhm.
what people go through. You know what I'm saying? So the message that I'm just trying to send with my music is just simply victory. That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
Victory. That's it. No matter what you're facing, no matter what you're going through,
Mm.
victory. Always keep your eyes on the prize because God got your back. And I say it all the time. My best friend be laughing at me because we be on stage doing all this dancing and stuff. But I tell people I ain't accepting no more L's. I'm not. I'm
Wow.
not taking no more L's, man. Not in this season.
Right.
God has done too much for me to be sitting around depressed. God has done too much for me to be sitting around just not following and not going in what He has called me to do. Follow your purpose, man. Like, come on. I
I
ain't
was
taking no more L's in the season. It's fixed fight, straight up.
yeah. I was telling one of my friends, like my prayer right now is like I don't want to be in a position where I disqualify myself from what's already promised.
Yeah.
You know, like that. So what you're saying right there, not taking no L's, being victorious, like as an athlete and a competitor, like that speaks. That's my language right there. Like, like we got to make sure that we don't take no losses.
Yo, I was at the gym the other day hooping, man. I left the gym so depressed, man, just mad. Because I went up to block this dude's shot
Yeah.
and I landed on his foot and twisted my ankle and like my ankle slammed against the ground. I was like, oh man, my foot broke. But I was able to get up. I was like, oh, I just did. It was a high ankle sprain. But man, that mess hurt so bad because I'm just tired of getting injured. I tore my Achilles, both
Ooh.
hamstrings, my meniscus. This Achilles has been trying to give me the blues lately. And then just to slam my ankle on the ground like that, I was like, wow. And then I was helping my homeboy move yesterday. And I told my friend, I was like, yo, we carrying this big old dress upstairs. I said, yo, slow down one step at a time.
Yeah.
Man, he got to the top and was like, just started backpedaling real fast. I'm like, yo, I'm still on the stairs, chill. And the thing fell on my arm. And for
Oh
like a couple of
man.
hours, I had a hard time opening my hand up. And I was like, bro, if I cannot play my guitar tomorrow,
Uh,
I'm coming to see you. I promise you. But man, yeah, man. Like you said, as an athlete, you don't want to be taking no L's. Shout out to Kevin Durant and Brooklyn Nets. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Because we ain't taking no L's when it comes to the championship this year. I hope you ain't no Lakers fan.
Well, we're gonna we probably we're gonna have to have an offline conversation because the nerve of you to say that with your Magic Johnson signed jersey right behind
Hey man, I got a KD jersey right in the closet though, so I ain't really. Man, listen, I'm not going for no Lakers.
you.
I'm
Okay.
still a Golden State Warriors fan, but my favorite player is Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. So
Man,
if Kevin Durant is going up against LeBron, I'm taking KD all day long.
I get you. I get
Yeah,
you.
man.
We're gonna have a talk about that. But shifting gears, you are a part of the praise and worship team down there in Dallas at the Potter's House.
Yep.
And I just kind of want to tap into you for some information with that. Like, what is something that we that aren't a part of praise and worship teams overlooked? And what is something that people who are praise and worship leaders need to keep in mind when they're performing in their ministry?
Uh, that is not you're singing to God,
Mm,
not to the people. And I feel like this pandemic has really shown us a lot when it comes to like worship leaders. It's like, do you need the people saying sing or yeah or the amen corner? Do you need that in order to worship God? And that's
mm,
one thing they had to pull us to the side and let us know. I was cool because I was like, man, I be at home worshiping. Like I
wow.
put my camera up, do virtual worship sessions here and stuff like that. So it was nothing for me to not have to sing to a crowd of people.
Yeah.
But they had to pull us to the side and say, hey, make sure your relationship is in line because when you're on stage and you don't talk to God during the week, it shows.
Whoa.
It shows, man, for real. That's
Yeah.
just like you trying to teach me how to back to sports. You trying to teach me how to shoot a basketball or something like that.
Yeah.
And you ain't never shot a three in your life. You just a layup king, or you just DeAndre Jordan. You can dunk or something. You know what I'm saying? So you get out there trying to show me how to do something that you've never done. It
Yeah.
shows. You know what I'm saying? So I love being at the Potter's house, man. Though just sitting up under that word with Bishop every week, and
Yeah.
it's like he takes scriptures or and stuff that you never looked at in a certain way, and just be like, man, what did you just say? Like,
Man.
oh, this is your title for this. I never would have thought of it that way.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, Bishop, he's crazy,
Yeah.
man.
One of the, I mean, I don't know Bishop Jakes personally. I've, seen him and talked to him. just because he comes to my home church here in Columbus every year for our national convention.
Oh yeah.
But it was a couple years ago, we had to do a pastors conference in Cincinnati. And so when he spoke, he came out of, a story in Samuel. And I'm like, oh, I saw him preach that a couple Sundays ago on YouTube or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, I already know what this is about to be because I was running the video and stuff. I'm like, I know what these points. And bro, if he didn't take that same message,
switched it up,
flipped it, I said, oh, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
He do that all the time. And then his daughter Sarah, I just be like, what do y'all be thinking? Like, what kind of conversations do y'all be having with God, man? Like,
but
Bishop know that word.
Well, that just goes back to, what you were just talking about with praise and worship leaders. Like, that is evidence of their private time
right
off the stage, outside the spotlight.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Bishop don't play that. Like, we didn't do it this year, but every year, the first month of the year, I think it's either January or February when we do it. I think it's January.
Mm-hmm.
He set everybody down. Y'all come. They have different worship leaders from other people. Like, they invite artists in to come sing, but they give us a break. They say, I want y'all to sit on the front row. I want y'all to listen to the word. And we have to do that. A Bible study, staff meetings, everything. Even on Sunday, it's like, ain't nobody playing nothing, ain't nobody singing nothing. We brought people in for that. Y'all need to sit down and get poured into, so y'all be able to pour into somebody for the rest of the year. You know what I'm
saying? That's amazing. So going back to your song, you talking about being victorious. I know we've talked about sports. It's always a pleasure meeting a fellow hooper.
Oh yeah.
How can we as believers, position ourselves to understand the victorious state and the victory that is promised to us?
Man, how can we position ourselves, man? Woo. You into a little deep on that, me.
Yeah, I know. It's a discipline. Like, to me, it's a discipline thing, because we are so easily, tempted to be outside of believers as far as how we act. Like, and I'm guilty of it. Like, I'll get mad at something in a second. Like, wait a minute, that's not worth getting mad at. So how do you develop that spiritual discipline to know, like, no matter what, I'm facing this, I'm going through this, like, but victory is on the other side. And as you like,
I'll tell you what, when I lost my job in Houston, man, before I moved to Dallas, I had no idea that the opportunity that I'm sitting there right now at the Potter's House was going to open up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't. That was victory for me by itself, because I lost my job one day, and then 2 weeks later, to be getting a call saying, "Hey, we want you to be the guitarist here," or whatever at the Potter's House. I was just like, now here I am sweating.
Yeah, man.
Like, how I'm gonna pay my bills? How I'm gonna pay my car note? These lights don't pay themselves because Reliant ain't trying to hear that. They when the bill is due, they want their money. They don't care what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, God, I'm sitting up here worrying about all of these things when you got my back.
Yeah.
You got my back. And the crazy part is, he showed me that before. Like, he showed me that before, because I lost my job. I was playing at a church out in Houston, mega church. And then on a Saturday night, now hear me, on a Saturday night, 11 p.m., by 12 midnight, I had another job at another church.
Whoa.
Just that, and I was just like, how is it that I wasn't sweating it then, but then when I lose this, I'm like, oh man, I'm going everywhere. I went and signed up and worked at UPS for every bit of 2 days. Bro, let me tell you something. I was on the back of that truck and I passed out. Been on the back of an 18-wheeler in Texas heat. It's a negative. It's an automatic no. And I was talking to my friend the other day. She was like, Jabari, like, I was like, I worked there for 2 weeks. She was like, no, you worked there for like 2 or 3 days. So you putting a lot on it. Your check was only like 70 something dollars. Chill. I was like, yeah, you right. I did only work there for like 2 or 3 days. You're right. But man, it's just like you gotta understand that no matter what, like I said before, God got your back. And if you are in his will, even some of the people that are outside his will, because I was one of the people at one point, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying? But if you're in his will, you ain't got nothing to worry about. God
That's,
promised to never leave us nor forsake us. He said he'll be with us always.
yeah.
Always means always. So that's what you got to remember. Put yourself in that. Like you can build on that. Let that be your foundation. That God is with me, and I can build on that. I ain't got to worry about nothing. No matter what comes my way, the church folks say the fiery darts that the enemy may fire at you, stuff like that. No
Yeah,
matter
yeah,
what, God got my back.
yeah. Because you talked about, because what else I got from that is just remembering your experiences with God.
Oh yeah,
You talked about, similar situation 2 different times, and
yeah,
but if we remember those experiences with God, that builds that foundation too.
yeah. My godfather was a pastor. He was a superintendent Luther Swindell. He used to always say this saying: "When I think, I begin to think." So when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that he's done for me, I begin to thank him for all that he's done and for all that he's going to do. So it's just the simple thought of the things that I've been through or the things that I'm going through. I just
Well,
begin to thank him for everything. I,
wow.
I I can't see it right now,
Yeah.
but it's on the way. You know what I'm saying? So when I begin to think, I begin to think. And when he said that the first time, the whole church just had a Baptist fit. I was like, oh man, here we go. Plug it up. Let's go. Yeah, man.
Plug it up. Yeah.
Let's go.
Man, finish this sentence for me. And you can use as many words as you want.
Okay.
So uh my name is Jabari Johnson and I'm inspired by blank.
Ty Tribbett, Kirk Franklin, James Brown, uh, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes. You know, I'm inspired by all these people, man. Like John P. Key, all these people played a part into who I am today.
Wow.
So yeah, man. Me and James Brown got the same birthday. I told my dad, I was like, yo, you my father, but James Brown is my musical father. So you just gonna have to accept that. We was born on the same day, and I
Wow.
believe I believe he left the funk with me. So that's all I got to say about that.
Man, yeah. I mean, especially when because you can hear now that you say you can hear a little bit of James when you scream in your
Oh yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
man. Only thing I can't do is the little dance moves he be doing. My knees too bad for that. That torn meniscus would let me do that. I was like, nah, I'm gonna stick to jumping every now and then. I'll do that. Yeah, man.
Oh man. But Jabari, as we wrap up here, I just wanted to get your thoughts on St. Jude, who we are doing a radiothon for next week, and what's the significance of us coming together? Like, I mean, you just experienced it down in Texas for a cause when people were in need, you saw communities and
Yeah.
the world come together. So even with this, with St. Jude, something that's ongoing with them finding, uh, you know, cures for cancer and helping save kids' lives. Like, what is the significance of us coming together to help them with that cause?
I don't know if you follow James Fortune or Trey the Truth, but it
Mm-hmm.
was this young lady that is actually Trey's niece, I think
Oh,
it
it's
is.
Lyric? Is her name Lyric?
Yeah, Lyric.
Yeah.
And she just lost her life and stuff like that. So that really touched me, man. So for you to bring that up, it's just like I I think it's very important that we, you know, get out there and help these kids because I mean, think about it, man. Like you raise a kid all this time and then all of a sudden something like that go down.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody in your corner. And I want to be one of those people. And I hope the people that's watching this, you will want to be one of those people that are standing in the gap and just pray for them. But then, put something tangible out there, and
Man,
help them so they can make this a little easier for them.
wow. And Jabari, I appreciate your time today, man. This was fun. We're going to definitely do this again, but talk about basketball, bro.
Oh, we can do this when the finals come.